What Gato does reveal is that Hardin is in possession of the Dark Orb, one of the 5 orbs that are part of the Shield of Seals, those being the Star, Light, Earth, Dark, and the Life Orb. The Dark Orb is powerful, but at the same time reacts to things like jealousy and rage, something that Marth questions how it affected Hardin of all people. Another thing is that right now Hardin is invincible, much like Garneth, only to be defeated if we are to obtain the Light Orb. Yet Gato will not simply hand us the Light Orb, rather that to prove himself worthy, Marth needs to go through Henri's way, and this is gonna be a shitload of fun. You see, Henri's way is chapter 11 through 14 of the game, and while story-wise it is amazing, gameplay-wise it is just a fair bit of bullshit. You see, starting from chapter 11 to the end of chapter 14, you will see a shit ton of dragons. By that I mean these maps are basically just the equivalent of a Captain Crunch cereal called Oops, All Dragons, now with extra fucking dragons. Which is a big problem. You see, in this game, dragons are able to pierce through defense and resistance of human characters, though not of other dragons. But since we only have Banutu, who is just okay, prepare for hell for the next 2 chapters while we learn about dragons courtesy of Cheney. Another, in my opinion, useless unit. Though he does so in a rather funny moment by pretending to be Tiki and hitting on Marth, which is kind of accurate given that every girl in the series seems to want Marth's dick. But anyway, you see, the dragons were degenerating and becoming feral beasts. So with that, Gato had proposed that to stop the degeneration, they take to dragon stones, otherwise become feral beasts, one with immense power that cannot be stopped. But before that, they lived as a society until the Day of Ruin, where they stopped having control over the ability to give birth. This means that Cheeky is the last child born of the Manichees, and with that was also forced to sleep to keep her contained. Also with this, the decision to split the dragon tribes, making them decide whether they want to live among humans or not. A few of them did, while many decided to say, fuck it, we'll become a wild beast. Fuck you, I pierced the fences, try to fight me, bitch. We also find out that this is behind Macedonia is somewhere called the Dragon's Altar, where demon dragons and other earth dragons who are not Medeas sleep. They went to form their own nation in Dura after they decided to split from the rest of the dragons, yet their fate remains the same as in they attacked, nearly pushing humans to the edge of the world into the brink of death. That was again until the previously mentioned Narga, king of the divine dragons as it turns out, came in to kick their ass and push them back. He has sealed them up with the shield of the 5 orbs, which if you put 2 and 2 together, that is the Fire Emblem and the... We also learned that the Falchion was left behind because if he didn't leave us a dragon-slaying weapon, we would honestly have little to no hope of escaping this shit if dragons came back and tried to kill us humans. After all, we are just bugs in a world of fire-breathing and powerful dragons. We also find out that both Gato and Cheney are divine dragons who lost the ability to transform into dragons, though because of the way that Manichees were treated, Cheney had lost faith in humans. That is until Marth came along and proved to be different. But it isn't just dragons we learn about. We learn that the shield that is the Fire Emblem, or the Shield of Seals, is basically a pedestal for the 5 orbs, and if they were to be lost, the seal on dragons would be weakened. Yet, however, 600 years ago, someone stole the shield and scattered the orbs, that person being the very first king of Akanaya. So yeah, the guy was nothing more than a dirty thief, or rather politician, same thing, really. We also learned that Henri had a lover named Artemis that he sadly was unable to marry, mostly due to his status as a common man, and as such being advised not to by her council. Yet this is also in line with the curse of the emblem, that anyone carrying the emblem must give their life to the royal family. Something to keep in mind for later. We also learn that Henri never actually married in life. Instead, the royal family is that of Marcellus, who is Marth's great-grandfather. So yeah, Marth, while being blood-related to Henri, his family didn't come directly from Henri's loins. Something which is of a nice twist, since usually in most stories, the main character is basically spawned from a hero of legend fucking a girl senseless and creating his bloodline. But again, more on that later. For now, we reach Gato in chapter 14, who tells you to come to the middle room with the star shards. So I go into the room and we get the light orb to fight Hardin and the dark orb. Then he gives you the... Oh, wait, what? What? I didn't get the star shards? Wait. Fuck. I mean, I swear to you gotta be fucking kidding me. Apparently I missed 2 in Chapter 7 and Chapter 12. So with that, I do not get Tiki, nor do we get the Star Orb. Something that if I do not fix, something bad will happen. Though, not on my watch, fuckers, for I got the ultimate power of a Chapter 5. But yeah, I missed the 2 star shards when I played, and I was devastated enough I quit playing for a week, and then decided to go back and do my run all over again with the power of save states and fast forwarding, making sure to get all the shit I needed. So in this correct version of history, I get both the adorable Babby Dragon and my motherfucking Star Orb, which is awesome. You see, what this baby does is it, like FE1, preserves weapon uses, but at the same time increases all growth rates by 30%. All of them. If that isn't fucking awesome, I have no idea what is. Oh, and we also get the Light Orb, which is good for defeating Harden. Which, side note, I was correct in my Fire Emblem 1 retrospective that we should have kept that on that fucker. But yeah, with this chapter you also get the Again staff, a staff that allows you to move everyone again, including the user of the staff. It is best to reserve it for endgame, and you'll know why when we get there. Anyway, Gato says that we also have to hurry up with finding the other stones to restore the Shield of Seals, especially since otherwise our developing Babby Dragon, Tiki, will degenerate otherwise, which is hence why Gato keeps making her sleep. Another thing we learned is that Gato is heading back to investigate Garneth, who brought himself back to life by that pesky Dark Orb. If it wasn't so vital to the world's existence, I would say to just fucking destroy that thing. But that is just me. Oh, and he also sends you back to Aricia with his magic warp powers. Yay, plot convenience! There we discover that Abel's on the enemy side, having been forced to by the fact that his lover S has been captured. Yes, once again we have the full trio of Paula, Katua, and Est, and with that their lovely triangle attack, which this time has the ability to be used even if Est isn't promoted. Another thing to note is that this is one of the last arenas in the game. Only 3 of them in total, honestly, and I should honestly go into more detail with how they work. In this game, how the arena works is that you'll be asked if you want to bet a certain amount, and that amount will determine winnings in the strength of your opponent. So say you bet 600 gold while at tier 1, you'll probably get an opponent that is your level, or one above. Meanwhile, you go to 13 or 1400 gold, you'll get something that are usually bishops or dark mages, who if you are powerful enough will be easy to beat. However, around 1000 to 1100 is difficult. You see, there you have dragons and heroes, both of which have high attack and accuracy. Heroes also have good defense, but another problem is, unlike FE1, you cannot choose your weapon. Instead, you are stuck with an iron weapon, which against armor units is pretty much resulting in this. Anyway, after reclaiming Aricia and saving the Earth Orb, we learn that Princess Ellis, another sister, has been taken by Garneth, and that next on his list is Nina and Pales. So with that, they decide they will go to Pales and save her, and hopefully save Harden. Yet, before that, they must go through Gra, which honestly at this point is just a former shell of itself. Its forces are weak and wanting to run, which is, interestingly enough, is a nice contrast from their appearance in Book 1, where they were kind of on top. Yet in Gra we meet up with Samson of the old Aaron and Samson archetype, which actually doesn't exist in this game. You don't have to choose between any units to recruit or whatnot. Rather, you get both. But he is serving the current Queen of Gra, a general named Sheena, who is actually an archetype we have so far had in every game. That archetype being the Lorenz. You see, her recruitment requires that you do not kill any of her soldiers, which is actually easy to do given that those who you need to not kill will run away, while those who you can kill will attack you. But she also has Samson next to her, who refuses to leave her side, possibly out of love for her as the game implies. Though when Marth goes to talk to her, says something about being regretful for what happened during the last war, which in contrast to what we saw is rather interesting. You see, it shows that Marth isn't that static as much as people seem to claim with most of the games, that while he had his rage, As it has subsided, it leaves him with regret. Vengeance can only feel so much before it leaves you either empty or regretful. But yeah, you get her, and she can be leveled up pretty easily from what I understand. You see, if I'm correct from what I heard in this game, she can be used to kill her own soldiers. If you want to be a vicious asshole, not vicious asshole. The fuck me. But yeah, after you go and save the last of Gra, you continue on your way to Pales. Though they decide to go through the Adria mountain path, which is where they are met by the good old group. That group being the Wolf Guard. When the battle there begins, we see that Roshea is having a bit of a change of mind on this. That being that Hardin may be in the wrong on this. However, the others keep to their loyalty, wanting to make good on their promise to return thanks to Hardin for freeing them from slavery long ago. Which, speaking of which, there seems to be a ton of that in Arcania. What with the fact that we've had Ogma, Samto, Samson, Rad, and Caesar in Book 1, and all of the Wolf Guard revealed to be former slaves. Marth really needs to fix this shit. Oh, and one thing that is really interesting to know is that we have our next person in the archetype train in Wolf being a Camus. With that, he's one of the only Camus that you do not have to fight. There are 2 of those to be exact, but that is for another day. But yeah, how do you get him to retreat is you have to get Marth to go to a village that is on the complete opposite side of him and meet with the King of Orleans, who is looking to get his army to stop. With that, he realizes that his brother Hardin is too far gone and must be stopped, and to do that he gives you the Life Orb, giving you 4 of the 5. Oh yeah, and you get the Earth Orb off of a thief in Chapter 16. With that, King Orleans orders his soldiers to retreat, making the group leave. Though speaking of going after Hardin, it is revealed that Medea had formed a coup to oppose him, yet she failed. With that, her men have slowly been getting executed, which probably includes her soldiers Tomph, Michelin, and Thomas. It would explain why they aren't in this part of the game, but Medea is still held prisoner and is about to be executed. Though first you must make your way through Norda, where you have the literal last arena of this game. Unlike FE1, this game only gave you 3 of those throughout the game, something I felt was pretty cool since the last game didn't give you any arenas but infinite grinding, while FE1 gave you an arena in every 4th chapter. Oh, and you also get Roshea, which I guess is important, but not really. He's kinda useless at this point. But at the end of the chapter, you are greeted by an injured Boa. There we learn that Boa had forced Nina to marry Hardin, saying that a king was needed to rule over the land, and they couldn't wait on Nina since the person she really wanted, Camus, who was thought to be dead. So, with that, they forced her to marry Hardin, who truly loved her, but didn't get that same love back, which he found out despite Boa and others trying their hardest to keep it hidden. This is pretty much what happened with Henri and Artemis, history repeating itself, and not learning and making the same mistakes as 100 years ago. Yet with that, Garneth managed to take advantage of Hardin, corrupting him and turning him into the cruel emperor. Boa also tells us finally what we wanted to know, why he was taking the sisters. He plans to use their blood and resurrect and power up Medeus. So knowing this, we go into the castle to confront Hardin, who has Medea near him ready to be executed. There are actually 2 things with this that I wanted to mention. The first being that to damage Hardin, you have to have the Light Orb equipped to deal damage to him, though he can usually double a lot of your units from my experience with his 20 Might Gradivis. Oh, and the next thing, Medea joins your party, but do not do anything with her until your party is close to Hardin. Reason for this is that it'll trigger Hardin's dialogue that after will have enemies actually attack her. Marth, as a servant of the Empire, you dared to invade Pales. I'm disappointed in you. Zericia's Prince of Light is just a lowlife. Hardin, you're being controlled by the Dark Orb and have lost your just heart. Please, you must return to normal. You are so naive, Marth. I attacked Zericia solely because of my hatred of you. In the previous war, it was only because you were the descendant of Henri that Nina gave the emblem to you and chose you to become the leader of the Alliance. Prince of Light. What nonsense. If you hadn't received my support, you would have died long ago, so don't act all big, Marth. From that day on, I hated you. I kept silent for Nina, but I knew I would have to deal with you eventually. This has nothing to do with this orb. Hard. Is that true? Your hatred of me? I didn't know. Huh. That's why you're just a boy. Marth, come to me. So I can use my Gradius to pierce your heart. In this tiny continent, I'm the only hero that is needed. Honestly, this characterization of Hardin is amazing. I love how it portrays the change from friend to foe, and just how crushing it is for Marth to have to hear this from someone he considered close. Yet the audience could tell something is off, especially since he seemed proud to serve under Marth previously. But overall, I feel it was genius to make someone who was not important to the story in the previous game the big villain. It's something that's never really done, at least not often, though when you defeat Hardin you get both the Dark Orb and Gradius, along with his dying words. Marth, your highness, I have finally awakened from my deep dream. Your highness, I am deeply sorry. I fought with my inner demon. However, I was too weak. I resisted with all my might, but I still lost. I hoped for your highness's hand to end my life. That way, I could be saved. Your highness, Nina, please take care of Nina. I hope you can tell her. In the end, I still loved her. I hope she can forgive me. With Hardin's tragic death, we learned that he truthfully wasn't himself, yet it was too late for him to be restored. Death was the only way to save him from what Garnef had made him, to release him from his tragic suffering. But in the end, you still saved him from the hellish nightmare he would go into. He would not have escaped this, and would be hated till the people rioted. He would still be stuck in a loveless marriage. There was nowhere for Hardin to go but the grave. Either way, with his defeat in all 5 orbs, we form the Shield of Seals, which is important for the next thing about to happen. When we take the throne, we get greeted by Nina and the other sisters, and when they come up to Marth, the shield glows, revealing them to be Garnef and his goons. If the shield was not restored, however, we would instead be greeted by all the sisters and the game would end there. But yeah, in the true ending, we get Garnef and his group running away, heading to the Dragon's Altar. This leads us into the true final chapters. We first go through the Dragon's Dale and Macedon on the way. With that, we also find a special someone in the village. That person is the injured Michiel, who has quite a bit to say. Prince Michiel, what are you doing here? And you've suffered a great wound. What happened? Marth, I have been waiting for you. Huh? Take this. This is the Starlight Tome. You're giving it to me? That's right, Garnef. Only with this spell can he be harmed. I managed to take it back from his possession. Garnef? Where is he now? The Dragon's Altar. I was careless. I could be defeated by Garnef. Marth, good luck. I'm already finished. If Minerva's still around, tell her to, in my place, rescue Maria. Michiel, Your Highness, I leave Maria's fate to you. You know, we get a fair bit of an interesting parallel there between Michiel and Hardin. Both fall, yet as opposites. Hardin was a hero who fell from grace. Consumed by his jealous feelings he kept buried deep inside and was corrupted by that and power into a monster. Michiel, on the other hand, was a man who was a monster, yet in his final moments he tried to redeem himself to save the younger sister, who showed him kindness when he enslaved her and treated her like dirt. Yet neither could ever truly go back from what either had done, and both redeemed themselves in their final moments. This game is truly beautiful, and it handles these two character arcs so well that I cannot imagine any other way this could have... Well, fuckity fuck a bunch of fucking bullshitty fuck, fucking like you... Fuck you like a femme. Anyway, fuck me like a fucking female fighter versus a bunch of fucking wait, no. Off topic. Getting way off topic. Gonna have to hold that for 9 fucking games. 9 games to get all my problems with that. Okay, deep fucking breaths. So with the death of Michelle, we get the Starlight Tome to fight Garneth and head into the Dragon's Altar. With this place, we are told, because of its air around it, that we have to choose carefully who goes in with us. So if your last 15 units, I would suggest you bring the following people: Julian, Minerva, Merrick, and Sirius, for good reason. Also make sure your again staff has full uses. But you make your way through the tower's first floor where you meet Garneth, who once again has the Falchion. After you beat him, you arrive in the final room where you meet Medius. In the same map starts with him and a fair good amount of Earth Dragons surrounding Medius, alongside the 4 sisters surrounding him. When the battle starts, if you have the Falchion, every other dragon outside of Medius vanishes, just leaving him and the sisters. So with that, you need to rescue the 4 sisters, which there is seemingly no way to do this. However, that is actually 100% wrong if you kept the again staff, because what that does is allow every unit that has moved to move again, as I stated previously. So with all of that, I managed to get the following people to talk to each other: Merrick and Elise, Julian and Reyna, to have him confess his love to her. Then we have a few choice conversations to look at. Maria, please open your eyes. It's me, Minerva. Please be strong. Uh-oh, Minerva, sister, Medius, Everything's alright now. Relax. I'm sorry, Maria, for letting you experience all this. Sister, I'm scared. So scared. Oh, how is brother? He fought with Garneth to rescue me. Michelle, he's alright, Maria. Don't worry. Really? Then when we return home, we'll be one big happy family again? That's great, sister. Oh, I want to see brother again. Maria. Damn, I don't know about you, but that made me tear up a bit the first time I played it. So does this next combo. Princess Nina, open your eyes. Be strong. I made a huge mistake. Because of my stupidity, I caused such grief for Hardin, and it made him turn into that. Oh, what should I do? Empress, Prince Marth already ended Hardin's suffering. Even until the end, Hardin still loved you, and he apologized for his crimes. It's alright now. You don't need to suffer anymore. You just had a bad dream, that's all. You are? Princess Nina, you mustn't give up. You shouldn't be a weak person. You are Camus. You are Camus. Why are you... Am I dreaming? You're still, It's true. Empress, I think you're mistaken. I am Sirius, a soldier of the Allied Army. I don't know anybody named Camus. Sirius? How? No, that's wrong. You must be. Please calm down. You must be very tired. I must leave this place very soon. Well, Empress Nina, you should return to Marth's side. You? Where are you going? I must return to my country. I have someone waiting there for me. Really? Is that so? I understand, Sirius. Thank you. Sorry. Huh? It's nothing. Empress, you must go. This conversation concludes the character arc of Camus, going from a man who served a fallen kingdom to a man who redeemed himself. He moved on from Nina, finding his love in a new life where he could be a simple man. Yet he needed to have closure to make sure everyone could truly move on. While freeing himself from the shackles of the past, he did the same to Nina, making sure that she could find someone new, making sure that she didn't have to wait for a man who would never come, despite the fact that he was right there in her face. A true act of kindness, if I may say so. Yet we go up to defeat Medius, striking him down with the Falchion blade, once and for all. Why have I been defeated so easily? Is this the power of Norga's Shield of Seals? But humans, don't forget, as long as greed lives on in you, you will lose the shield and I will rise from the earth once again. Remember, this. With Medeus defeated, the world is saved once again, everything coming to peace. The shield is secure, Tiki is no longer forced to be sleeping anymore, and Marth is the new emperor alongside Sheeta, though not without a few girls lamenting that they lost against Sheeta. Yet anyway... So, the tragic war of heroes finally ended. The 7 kingdoms were unified by Prince Marth. The United Kingdom of Akanaya was established and peace reigned. The tales of the heroes were remembered by future generations. Akanaya's Hero Saga. This is the story of the brave warriors who saved Akanaya. Now that was Fire Emblem Mystery of the Emblem, and my god is it a fucking masterpiece. Gameplay-wise, there's a huge improvement of the NES/Famicom era, and I cannot say any more than I have for the amazing story, both with fleshing out dialogue and going back to gameplay, implementing shit like the trading system, dismounting, and stuff like that. Though the music is fucking amazing too. I'm not sharing it all here due to not wanting to go on for too long, but seriously, look up the game's soundtrack. It is also a beautifully executed game that really marks a new era for Kaga's games. Oh, and speaking of that, it has a few nice features, which I've already mentioned, though you also have, if your units are faster, their speed stat makes them move faster on the map. Also, when you beat the game and keep everyone alive, you see a timeline of Akanaya, which, it's glitchy as hell. Well, that is a perfect way to end the episode. So anyway, join me next time as we embark on a journey like no other by heading to the continent of Jugdral and joining me for Fire Emblem Genealogy of the Holy War. Till next time.